detector means, even though we cannot repeat 100%. Hello, hi, good morning, everybody. The repeatable, detector means, even though we cannot repeat 100% all the feature points, right? But we want to repeat as many as possible number of features. Okay, that is a repeatable detector. So that was the first problem we have to solve, right? So repeatability rate can be calculated using this formula. Okay, then what was the second problem? The second one is about, yes, the first problem was about detector, and the second one is about descriptor. Okay, so it is more related about matching the points, right? So the descriptor to match the features, even though we have points detected, but if we cannot describe every point well, okay, properly, then it is not easy to match the points. So here the matching means, finding the corresponding point in other image. Okay, so in that sense, the descriptor of every feature. So simply saying the descriptor, sometimes we call it feature descriptor. Okay, and sometimes we can call it as feature vector. So descriptor practically can be represented as a vector. Here the vector means just a kind of set of feature value. Can be integer, floating point number, the set of numbers. Okay, that is descriptor. So every point can calculate its own descriptor. So if we have 4 points, like this example, then every 4 points, they can have descriptors, right? So by the way, the descriptor should be reliable and distinctive. So what is the meaning of reliability? Yes, even in case of variation, when there is some variation in the image, the descriptor for the same point or same object should not change a lot. So it cannot be nothing, but we want very less change, very small change. It is reliability. Okay, and distinctive. The descriptor should be distinctive. So reliability is the relationship, between different frames per every feature point. That is reliability. Okay. Distinctiveness, the distinctive descriptor means, it is about the relationship of all the features in the same frame. Okay. For example, in the left image, we have 4 green points on the left side, right? Among these 4 feature points, okay, their descriptor should be different each other. If some descriptors, for example, like these 2, if they have very similar descriptor, then it is not distinctive. Okay, so it is here the distinctive means, it is easy to distinguish each other. Okay, so the descriptor of every point should be distinctive from other feature points descriptor. Yes. Okay, is that clear? So we need repeatable detector and reliable and distinctive descriptor. Then we can match the feature points very well. Okay, so that is the basic concept. So on top of this, basic two problems, so when we are designing, these features, point features, we expect the feature points are rotation invariant. Here, the rotation invariance means, even though the object is rotating, the features can be detected at the same position, like this, and their descriptors are almost the same. That is rotation invariance. Even in case of rotation, the features are not varying, not changing. That is rotation invariance. Okay? So because in real case, the images, even though it is taken by one camera, it's a kind of consecutive frames. But even in that case, sometimes the camera can be rotated, right? So we want to match the feature points even in case of rotation. That is rotation invariance. Okay? And the second one, another one is, scale invariance. In reality, the size of the object can change. When can we expect that kind of, size variation in consecutive images? Yes, exactly. When you zoom in, zoom out, so it is depending on normally on the distance between the camera and the object, right? So we can experience this kind of scale variation. In that case, even though the object is getting smaller or getting larger, right? So we want to keep the same feature points, and we want to expect very similar descriptor so that we can match them in different frames. Okay, that is scale invariance. Actually, this property, scale invariance, is more difficult than rotation invariance. Okay, so we'll see some example features later today. Which one is scale invariant and which one is rotation invariant. Okay. Okay, so there was a very basic concept, and today we will focus more on some example features in terms of this kind of basic conditions. Okay, scale invariance or rotation invariance, and the problem 1, problem 2, blah blah blah. Okay. Any question until now? All good? No question? Okay, so in the beginning, we have considered one example case of panorama, building. It means stitching the consecutive images. Okay, but this kind of features, point features, they can be used for tracking objects, tracking face or tracking cars, and they can be used for panorama, but there are some more applications. So these features are kind of very common and low-level features for many applications. Okay, so for example, the first one, image alignment. It is about actually the image stitching. Okay, like the panorama generation. Okay, and 3D reconstruction. So when you want to reconstruct the 3D shape from the 2D image, that is normally 3D reconstruction. So this is one of the important field in computer vision. Right? So in case of 3D reconstruction, we are taking multiple 2D images, and we want to combine them to generate 3D object. So in that case, we have to also match the point features between the taken, 2D images. Okay, so in this sense, so these kind of features can be used for 3D reconstruction. So motion tracking, like object tracking, so we definitely can use this kind of point features. Sometimes we can use this information for object recognition as a basic, feature for recognition using the matching capability of these features. Okay, and indexing and database retrieval is also another good example. Recently, is especially one very popular approach for database retrieval. So image, content-based database retrieval. It means just like image searching, like video searching kind of stuff. In that case, we are using one of the most very popular approach, bag of words approach. Anybody has heard about this algorithm, bag of words? Not yet? Okay. So bag of words is a kind of very popular and yeah, okay. So this so how have you used the bag of words for any application? Yeah, SVM also can be used. Yeah. So we can classify. We can use the classification using bag of words features, right? And OpenCV also provide bag of words. So if you are interested in, then you can try with OpenCV easily. Okay. Anyways, bag of words is a kind of modern and very popular approach for image database retrieval or image search. Okay. So in that case, so this kind of point features can be used as every word of the bag of words. So it is also a very popular approach, and you can find some papers and source code as well. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So robot navigation, because robot is supposed to be moving, right? So images, the robot is seeing is actually moving around. So in the sense, we also can use this kind of point features to gather some information, navigation information. Oh, where am I going? Where am I now? And which direction do I have to go? Okay, so that kind of information can be calculated based on these point features. So in this way, not just only for tracking. So these kind of point features are very useful, basic fundamental features for many computer vision applications. So it is important to understand about these point features. So we'll study a little bit in depth about one of the very representative algorithms from today. Okay. Okay. So then, what kind of now we know some basic theory and basic requirements for the point features, interest point features, right? Then what kind of point features can we now practically calculate or use? Okay. So first of all, one very easy point features we can consider is edge point. Okay. So it is coming from, basic image processing, right? So have you guys done any edge detection before? I think you might have studied edge detection kind of image processing already. Okay, yeah. So as you can see in this slide, right? So from the taken picture, color image, normally it needs to be converted into gray image because when we are detecting edges, so we are normally using grayscale image, right? So edges are calculated based on gray value. But sometimes in some special cases, edges can be calculated on, color image as well. Anyways, so from the image, whether it's color or gray, what we want to extract is the final result is, as you can see, like this, some points as in the edge area, right? In the contour region. So that is edge. Okay. So I believe all of you may be familiar to this concept. Anybody has any question about edge or any don't understand what it means? All clear? Okay. Yeah. So it is very basic, right? Oh, really? You haven't heard about edge? Yes, edge detection. Yes, edge detection. Okay, so then what kind of edge detection have you used? Which one is familiar to you? There are several, popular algorithms, right? What kind of algorithms have you used? Or oh, you mean edge? I think I haven't seen, any edge detection using R-like features yet. Yeah, Kenny is very popular, right? Yeah, so it is Kenny edge detection is developed, implemented in OpenCV. Sober, yeah, Sober is very fundamental and basic, edge detection. Yeah, Kenny is kind of a little bit more high-level edge detection. Okay, yeah, thank you. So using any kind of, edge detection algorithm, we can detect edge points. So in this picture, the background, black area means there is no edge. The white pixels, so it is now showing the contour shape of human face and some, bookshelf kind of stuff, right? So this white dot that is showing the contour information of objects, that is edge. So it looks like a line, right? It looks like a kind of drawing, pencil kind of drawing, but it is actually set of points. So these white points are called as edges, right? So when we are talking about point features, so very straightforwardly, we can imagine, edge points. Oh, we know edge. What is edge? It's very easy to calculate, easy to understand. So why don't we use edge? Okay. So by the way, in this, as you can see in this example, in the first image on the left one, okay, I try. Okay. So in the first image on the left one, this point near the ear of the face, right? So this one point. Okay, let's say there are many white, this kind of white dots, right? So these edge points. Okay, so I selected one of them. Oh, there is one small edge point near the ear position, like this on the left image. Okay, and then as we have discussed already, okay, on the right image, so let's say the right one, this one, okay, this one, right one is the next frame, okay, of image. Then now I want to match this small a point with the corresponding point in the second image on the right side. Then which one is the corresponding one? A, B, C, which one? It's very easy question, right? Which one is corresponding? Yes, it's very obvious, right? Large A is matching with A, so they are kind of corresponding pair. we can recognize that very easily. Okay, small a is now matching with large A. Okay. By the way, just in terms of H information. Okay, so when we have H point, right? So in this image, we have many white points. Again, they are all H's. Okay, so from H points, so in terms of detector, so we detected H points. We can say, oh, we detected H points. So in that sense, we call this algorithm as H detection, right? Detector. Okay, repeatable. Oh, so first of all, in terms of first, problem, is H detector kind of repeatable detector or not? Can you answer the question? Yes, somehow, right? Oh, it looks like repeating. So small a in the first image is repeating at the large A position. So if we consider some other point, for example, some small one H around the right eye here, then it is repeating with similar position on the second image. So it is repeatable. Okay. Then, so detector, in terms of detector, looks good. Good repeatable detector. Then the next problem is about descriptor. So descriptor means the information around the points, right? So in case of H point, when we have one H point like small a, then what kind of descriptor can you calculate with H? Can you guess what kind of description? In other words, what kind of future value, the real value, numbers, can you generate per every edge to represent the edge point? So it is called as descriptor, right? So let me write down. Okay. So what kind of information can you represent for the descriptor of every edge point? So density, distance. Actually, distance, yeah, somehow, yeah, it is also possible, like distance to nearby edge point, right? Okay, good guess. Thank you. Density, yes, yeah, density also can be information. By the way, have you heard about the term magnitude? Have you heard about magnitude of edge, especially magnitude of edge? What is magnitude of edge points? It is a little bit similar but different from thickness. Thick, when you say thick or width means, how many edge points connected, right? So it is making, so it can make a kind of thick line, okay? Actually, that is not about magnitude. Any other idea? Okay, so in case of edge, when we say magnitude, it is about the strength of edge. So other word, strength or edginess. they all have the same meaning. Okay, so the strength means, edginess means, even though we have many edge points, right, in white points in the picture, but every point can have, different strength. So the edges are basically the points where, the pixel values are changing, right? So depending on the change value, how much change, right? It can be small sometimes, it can be very big. So it is representing the strength, how strong the edge. If the change is big, then it is becoming stronger, and the edginess is high, and magnitude is high. Okay, so this is magnitude. So the magnitude of large A points in the second image, large A and large B and large C, like this, okay, they can be different, right? So edginess also can be a kind of descriptor value, one of the value of the descriptor. Normally, edge is calculated based on grayscale image. Binary? Not binary. So binary we can calculate edge from binary, but it's so binary, in case of binary, edge is too obvious, right? Because binary image means black and white, right? So edge means, every point between black and white. So that is edge, right? So it is too simple in that case. But still we can, say, we can calculate edge from binary image as well. Okay? But normally when we say edge, it is based on grayscale image. Clear? Okay. So magnitude can be one value for the descriptor of every edge point in that sense. Because, every different, edge point can have, different magnitude, different edginess. Okay. Okay. By the way, there is one more very popular, descriptor about edge. Anybody can guess? Any other feature value for edge we can calculate? Yeah. Okay. Angle, actually. Yeah, no, angle is very popular, very standard. Okay. Oh, we still can use position and something like that. Yeah, but angle is kind of another standard, kind of very popular feature for edge. So when we know the edge position, right, by calculating some nearby region, we can calculate the angle. For example, in case of small a in the first image, on the left side, right? Small a here, okay, small a edge point. What is the angle of this edge? So approximately, we cannot calculate it exactly, right? What is so actually this edge is on the side of the face, okay, along the vertical face line, the left face contour, right? Then what is the angle of this edge? What can be? 90. So actually we don't have much time about, discuss about so much in depth about edge detection. When in case of edge, when we are talking about angle, it means the direction. It doesn't mean the angle of the edge line. That is different concept. Okay. So because now we are looking at just one point, so we cannot see this vertical line. So this vertical line of the face, left face contour, okay, its direction can be 90 degrees, as you said, right? But when we say edge direction, it is not about the line, okay? Because we are now looking at just point, edge point, not the line is the line. We cannot consider the line information. So instead of that, when in case of edge, when we say angle, it means the direction of brightness change. So from dark to bright. Okay, that is the direction. So in this case, it can be like 0 degree or 180 degree, just approximately. Yeah. So that's the formula we can use to calculate this. Okay. So anyways, so this kind of magnitude, angle kind of descriptor can be used for the feature descriptor. Then the question, the problem 2, is it reliable and distinctive? So first of all, let's consider reliability. Is it reliable descriptor? If we use the magnitude and angle. So let's say 2 numbers. So let's say we have just 2 dimension of vector, right? Feature vector, magnitude and angle. Then, is it reliable descriptor or not? Yes, good answer. Thank you. So we can consider this A point again. Okay, this small A point in the first image and the large A point in the second image. When we consider their magnitude, it can be a little bit different, but it may not be so much different because the color or brightness of the face region and the brightness of the other, hair region kind of stuff, that is not changing so much, right? So magnitude, we can say magnitude is somehow reliable. Then what about angle? So the angle is also not changing so much if the face is not rotating. Okay, so basically we can say reliable. But sometimes in some condition it may not be reliable. Okay. Then what about distinctiveness? The distinctive descriptor. So is this descriptor distinctive? So let's compare. So distinctiveness is about the relationship between different edge points in the same image. Okay, not between different frames. Right? So we have to compare. We can compare this large A and large B and large C image, especially between large A and large C. Do you think this descriptor can be distinctive between A and C? Well, they are on the same line, control line of the face, right? So the brightness change may not be so much different. Is that correct? So the magnitude is not so much distinctive. What about angle? Do they have A and C? Do they have any so much different angles? Again, yeah, almost the same, right? Not exactly, but almost the same angle, right? So it is not distinctive in that sense. To be distinctive, their value should be very different, but they look very similar each other. Then it's not distinctive. So edge point features looks very straightforward and easy to understand and easy to implement and very popular. But they are not a good feature point because they are not distinctive. They cannot generate distinctive descriptors. Okay, so this, but still sometimes we can use edge point as well if you want to do some very simple kind of matching. Okay. Okay, so edge was very low level feature. Then edge is not so much distinctive. So the next one, a little bit more higher level of feature can be corners. So actually corner can be regarded as a special case of edges. So the edge point at the corner area, that is corner point, instead of just edge. So let's consider the first image here. First image. So this is the object contour, like this. Okay, object contour. Then it is composed of many edge points like this. Many edge points. Okay. Among them, the point at the corner. So may know the concept of corner, right? At the corner, it is one of the many edge points. Kind of selected edge point at the corner area. That is corner feature points. Okay. So, do you think corner is more distinctive than just edge or not? Yes, corner, because there are not so many corners, right? The other edge points, we have many similar edge points, right? So they're not so much distinctive. But corners are not so often, not so many, so very rare. So we don't have too much, confusion with other edge points, right? So normally corner features, points, are considered to be more, stronger and more distinctive feature description, feature points. Okay, so in some computer vision algorithms, we are still using corner features. Okay. So one of the most popular, then how can we find the corner? How can you calculate the corner from the image, right? I want to, for example, the peak of the mountain, or can be a kind of corner point. Okay, so in this way, you want to extract many good corner points. So there are many traditional algorithms because corners were very kind of popular kind of features for a while. So there have been many diverse corner detection algorithms. Okay, so among them, this one, Harris corner, is one of the most popular corner detection algorithm. Okay, so Harris corner has this kind of energy function EUV, and it is actually using a kind of window approach. By scanning the window in the whole image, this is the energy function. So it is formulating it, to minimize this E function, so that we can have a unique corner points. So very simply, saying this is the concept of Harris corner. But today, because Harris corner also was a kind of popular feature, and it is still being used, but recently we have many more, better kind of algorithms. So instead of Harris corner, we'll focus on the second one, the next one. Okay, so then in case of Harris corner, I just want to briefly introduce it in this page, in this one page. Okay, but still sometimes if you want any faster feature detection, you also can use Harris corner. So OpenCV is providing this Harris corner detection function. It is called as corner Harris. Then you can detect the corner points very easily. Okay, for your understanding. Anyways, okay, so here's whatever corner. So it is like, for example, the Harris corner points. So this slide is showing the example of this, Harris corner, right? So from, it is not so much visible, but you can see small dots like this, okay? In the cow, this toy, body, there are many small red dots, okay? So these are kind of the detected corner points. So by scanning the window, so it is generating this kind of response image, and then select the corner points based on the corner response image. Okay. Then, so anyways, this Harris corner feature looks obviously much, reliable and much more distinctive, right? So it is regarded as one of the good features and popular features. Okay. It is repeatable as well, right? So it looks like it is satisfying problem 1, problem 2 clearly. So what about rotation? So in this slide, it is showing a little bit of rotation of the toy, right? So what about rotation? In case of rotated image, can we find the same feature point, and can we have the similar descriptor? So finally, can we say this kind of Harris corner features, corner points, are rotation invariant or not? How can you say? Do you think corner point features are rotation invariant? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, in some cases may not be rotation invariant, right? But in very general case, Harris corner, the corner points are normally rotation invariant. Even the position change also invariant. Okay? It doesn't care where it is, right? But we can still detect the same corner. Zero corner, what do you mean? Oh, okay, yeah. So even though position, okay, so position change, right? So position change invariance. In other words, it is transformation invariance. Okay, yes, that's right. So rotation invariance. So you can see this kind of graph for Harris corner. It is about rotation invariance. So the x-axis means the angle change from 0 angle to 180. Okay, and the y-axis is the repeatability rate. So you may remember how to calculate the repeatability rate. Okay, so the Harris corner shows very a little bit difference, but not so much difference, right? A little bit stable. Even though it means even though angles are changing from 0 to 180, the corner points can be repeatably detected. Okay? Yeah. So in that sense, we can say Harris corner and even other corner detection algorithms are kind of rotation invariant. Not 100% again, right? But still significantly, rotation invariant. Okay. Okay, so now it satisfies problem 1 and problem 2 and rotation invariant. It's good. Looks good. By the way, what about the last condition? Scale invariance. So in this slide, I show you two different scale of corner. On the right side here, okay, you can see a line, and for this corner, okay, if I zoom this corner like this, like the left side, okay, it is kind of corner, but the curvature of the corner is getting not getting weaker, getting smaller, right? When we zoom in. So the descriptor in the zoom in area and zoom out area can be different. Okay? So in that sense, we can say it is scale invariant or not. Is it scale invariant or not? Yes, it's not scale invariant, right? So in this sense, corner itself cannot be scale invariant. So this last condition is not satisfied. Anyways, so that is Harris corner. So what you have to remember and understand is, sometimes you can choose Harris corner as a feature for your calculation or algorithm. Okay, what you have to remember is, it is rotation invariant, but not scale invariant. So when you are developing an application, when the image is zoom in and zoom out very often, it means scale variation, right? Then you should not choose Harris corner, because Harris corner is not scale invariant. Okay. So in this slide, it is showing a very simple code for Harris corner detection. So it is not a test, okay, because it's not a kind of big, important, algorithm for now. So if you want to use Harris corner, then you can use this sample kind of example. Okay, this is just an example code using OpenCV for Harris corner detection. Harris corner was also a kind of popular algorithm. It is implemented in OpenCV this way. Okay. Okay, so if we run that kind of code using OpenCV, then we can see this kind of results. In the second image on the right side, we can see some white circles, very small white circles. They are representing Harris corner feature points. Okay. So again, by the way, recently we have in recent 10 years. Okay. Now we have many researchers have developed much better point features, in the sense that when we already know Harris corner or even other corners are not not scale invariant. But to solve this problem, there are some new approaches, many new approaches. So we'll discuss about it, from today. Okay. Yeah. So let's remember, Harris corner is not scale invariant. Okay. Okay. So any other question? No questions for now? Oh, by the way, anybody have used Harris Corner before? Nobody yet? Okay, okay. So it's not a big deal. Okay, it's very easy function call if you are using some library such as OpenCV. Okay, okay. So I think it's time to move to the next topic. Okay, the next topic is then how? But even though Harris corner is rotation invariant, but we need scale invariant as well for better matching capability, right? So in the next slide, we'll focus on some algorithms, just especially one of the algorithms that is scale invariant as well. So it means rotation invariant and scale invariant at the same time. Okay. So I will switch to the next slide. That is tracking 3 slides. It is again the same content folder. Okay. So the title is invariant features. So it is a little bit different, right? So different from interest features. So in the previous slide, the title was interest features. Edge, Harris kind of stuff can be interest features. By the way, for now, we are now considering invariant features. Here the invariant means, rotation invariant and scale invariant normally. Translation invariance is not so much big issue. Okay? Okay, so I think we'd better have a break. Let's have a 10-minute break, and then we will continue with invariant features. Is that clear? Okay. Any question? No question for now? Okay. So see you in 10 minutes. right? Harris corner is not scale invariance, right? So in that sense, when you say invariant features from now, it is rotation invariant and at the same time scale invariance. Especially we are focusing on the scale invariance. Okay. So anybody can talk about invariant features? What kind of invariant features do you know? Really? What is your idea? Money? Okay. What is your idea about invariant features? So there's nobody who have used invariant features before or studied? Anybody knows any algorithm for invariant features? Seven invariant features. Okay, so okay, good idea. Okay, so let me move to orientation. Okay, good idea. We'll discuss more in detail later. Okay, thank you. Orientation, yeah. So it is also the orientation kind of information can be used for rotation invariance, actually, right? Okay. Okay. So let's go scaling. Yes, scale invariance, right? So when we say invariance, it is actually representing three different types of invariance. So first of all, translation invariance. By the way, it is very easy to make a translation invariance because we can search or scan the image, right? That can provide us translation invariance. The second one, a little bit more important, is rotation invariance. Even though the mountain picture is rotated, we want to detect and match the same peak points. Okay, so that is rotation invariance. The last one, scale invariance. So the scale is now in this case zoom in. Okay, but we still want to detect the same peak points and same, descriptor, not the same, but no, we want to match the same points, correspondence. So that is scale invariance. So when we say a feature point algorithm is, invariant feature, then it should satisfy all these three invariants: translation invariance, rotation invariance, and scale invariance. Okay, so again, we are focusing on scale invariance more because it is the most difficult, invariance we can guarantee. Okay. Okay. So by the way, can you recognize this picture? This mountain? Where is it from? Anybody can recognize this picture? What is the name of this mountain? Which country is it from? Nobody knows that? Everest. Okay, good guess, but it's wrong. Sorry. Alps? Yeah, not Alps actually. Okay, so it is from United States. This is in United States. Any other guess? Have you heard about Yosemite? It was or kind of one of the old name of old, Apple OS X, version, right? Yosemite. Okay, so this is Yosemite from the Yosemite Mountain. Okay, National Park, Yosemite National Park. Okay. Okay. So, anyways, so we have discussed about corner already, right? So corner is corner invariant? No, because corner is not scale invariant. When the scale is has changed, then the corner feature cannot be extracted properly because corner is using a kind of window-based detection. So it is scanning certain size of window, so it cannot detect the corner properly when it is scaled up or scaled down. Okay, zoom in and zoom out. Okay, the corners are not scale invariant. So finally, this is one algorithm that was a kind of breakthrough in terms of invariant features. So similar to cascaded Haar-like feature. So there was a kind of very breakthrough and very outstanding algorithm in terms of face detection, right? Cascaded Haar-like feature, right? Haar-like algorithm, cascaded AWS algorithm, right? This paper and this algorithm is another kind of very distinctive, very popular and outstanding algorithm for invariant features that is called as SIFT. We call it as SIFT simply, but it's actually SIFT. Here SIFT means scale invariant feature transformation. So it is emphasizing this feature is scale invariant. So it is scale invariant feature transformation. So simply SIFT. SIFT. Anybody has heard about this algorithm, this feature, SIFT? Is it first time for you to hear the name? OpenCV also provides not as a default for now, but OpenCV also provide this SIFT algorithm. Okay, yeah, SIFT is very popular and famous, algorithm. It is about point. It is because when normally we say texture, texture is kind of regional information, regional feature, right? But SIFT is more about point features. Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of formal URL for SIFT. So you can click or type this link, then you can find more detailed information about SIFT. Okay. By the way, one issue with SIFT is actually SIFT was developed by a professor in UBC in Vancouver, and his name is David Loy. He became very popular with this algorithm. Okay. By the way, one thing you have to know is SIFT algorithm itself is not free to use for commercial products. So you can use it for academic use, but you cannot use it for commercial products. But still, it is very fundamental and very outstanding algorithm in this field of invariant features. it is very important to understand about this algorithm. So from today, we will focus more on this algorithm in detail. We will try to understand the detailed steps, detailed algorithm of shifts. Okay. So again, you can go to this link and you can download the paper, and you can also download the open source. Okay. When you are using this for study, then it's okay. But if you are working in the company, then don't use it for free. Okay, so you have to pay. Okay. So in this paper, at the bottom of this page, you can see the main title of the paper: distinctive image features from scale invariant key points. Okay, so you need that link. This www.cs.udc. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the former, paper, distinctive image features from scale invariant key points. So this is was published in 2004. So you can download this paper. You can read it. Okay, so whenever you have time, it's not a task or assignment, but if you are more interested, then you can download this paper and try to read it. Then it should be very helpful to follow this course. Okay, so David Loy has developed this shift feature, and it is using some kind of scale space approach to make the feature scale invariant. So we'll study the details together. Okay. So first of all, before we go to the theory of shift feature, let's think about this keyword: pyramids, image pyramids. Do you know the concept of image pyramids or scale space? In other words, we are using this keyword as scale space or pyramid. Compressed image. It's similar, but when we are saying image compression, it has actually some different meaning, because compression means it is more about how to store the image in a kind of compressed way to make it small size, right? But in case of pyramids, as you can see in this picture, okay, from the bottom image, the original the biggest image, okay, we are rescaling, normally scaling down the image into smaller size, the second one, and then smaller size. That is pyramid. So it looks like a kind of pyramid structure in Egypt or Cairo or in South America. Okay, pyramid, right? So we call this as image pyramid. So for the same picture, so they are not different one, right? For the same picture, we can build this kind of pyramid structure, and in other words, this concept is a scale space. So in this space, scales are getting different, right? Getting smaller. Okay, so in this sense, we can call it scale space or image pyramid. Then what happens? So if we look at the bottom, biggest image, and if you look at the top image, they are actually coming from the same picture. Okay, what is the main difference? What can you see? The main difference? Yeah, definitely size. Other than size, what are other difference can you see? Orientation? You mean angle? You mean, do you think it's rotated? Yeah, number of pixels. Yeah, definitely. Because the size has been, shrink. So number of pixels are much smaller than the original one. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Then can you see if we compare, okay, let me draw. Okay, if you compare these two images, the biggest one and the smallest one, then in the biggest one, we can see the face and recognize the face very clearly, right? But in the smallest one, the top one, can you see the face? And can you recognize the woman? Yeah, it may be possible, but not so clear, right? Why? Why do you think in the small image you cannot see the face, or you cannot recognize the face uh, clearly relative to the original bigger image? Because of size and other sense? Yes, the details. Okay, the detailed information of the face are lost in the process of resizing, scale down. Okay, when the picture is getting smaller, so it is like we are looking at a person from a long distance. Then you can see, oh, there is a person, but sometimes you cannot recognize the face of the person. Okay, is that clear? Or if you are looking at a kind of a book from a far distance, oh, there is a book, but sometimes you cannot read the title of the book when the book is very far from your position. When the book is very close, you can read the title of the book very easily. When book is far away, it means the size of the book is getting smaller and it is getting harder to recognize. Okay? So the main reason is when the picture is getting smaller, it means it has smaller size. In other words, as you have answered, it has less number of pixels. So it means many pixel information is lost in the small image. So as a result, the detailed pixel information is not available, so we cannot see the detailed information of the face. Okay? Yeah. So finally, we cannot recognize the face clearly. Okay? Yeah. So that is the image pyramid. So the reason why we are discussing about image pyramid is, we for this algorithm SIFT to develop, invariant feature point that is scale invariant, we are using this image pyramid concept. Not exactly the same, but we are using the same concept. Okay? So in other words, it is scale space. Okay? So in this paper and in this algorithm, to generate the scale space, it is using DOG method, DOP method. It's not the real DOP. Okay, just the name of the method in this paper. Okay, so to generate this, scale space images, the pyramid is used, but it's not exactly the same as the original image pyramid concept. It means instead of scale down physically, the size of the image, what it is doing is blurring image. So when we want to generate smaller information, smaller detail, less detailed image, instead of physically shrinking down the size of the picture, we are applying image blurring, kind of smoothing operation onto the image. So, and we can make it more blurry than the original image. That's the way they are generating this scale space or image pyramid in this paper. Because the main reason is, the real rescaling is taking much more time. Okay, so to avoid that kind of time, so we are instead of the real physical rescaling, we are using image blurring. Okay, so we'll just discuss more about the detail, more in detail later. Okay, so this is this slide, the next slide, slide number 8, is representing the concepts of pyramid and the blurring. Okay, on the left side, you can see we are starting from the original image. So this is kind of upside down pyramid. Okay, from the original image, we scale down this image into a smaller one. Okay, and then we scale down smaller one again, and then smaller one again, and again. This is original concept of image pyramid. Instead of that, what they are doing in this paper is, okay, G0 image. That is this original image. And then the next one, for the next image, they're not scaled down the image actually, but they're applying blur filter, smoothing filter onto the image. So are you familiar with filtering, image filtering in image processing? What kind of filter can you use to smooth or to make the image blurry? What kind of filter can you use? Okay, looks like here. Mean filter, median filter, average, mean, average, Gaussian filter, additive, nonlinear, yeah. Yes, thank you. So it looks like you're very familiar to this concept, right? So using any method, we can make the image blurry, right? So in this paper, they're using Gaussian filtering. So as you already know, if we apply Gaussian filtering on top of G0, then we can generate Gaussian filtered, blurry image G1. So it's not so much blurred, right? But so it's not so much distinguishable, but still you can see it is a little bit blurry. Okay. From G1, if we apply Gaussian filtering more, then we can get G2 image. It is more blurry. Okay. And if we apply Gaussian filtering again, once more, we can have G3 image. It is very blurry, so even we cannot see the face clearly. Okay, so in this way, instead of scale down, rescaling the image, what we are doing is we are applying Gaussian filtering to make image blurry, more and more blurry. So this is used as the scale space or image pyramid. So G0 is the original one, G1 is the next level, G2 is the next level, G3 is the next level. Okay, that's the approach of this paper. So instead of the physical pyramid on the left side, they are using Gaussian blurring on the right side. By the way, does that make sense? How Gaussian blurring can replace the physical pyramid. So for example, if we compare G3, okay, on the left and right. So in the real pyramid, G3 is very small image here. Let me draw with different color. Okay, small image, G3. Okay, and in the Gaussian blurring, okay, Gaussian smoothing, G3 is this guy. So if you compare these two G3, are they same or not? They're not exactly the same, right? So the left one is very small image. The right one is not small. The size is same as the original one, but just blurry. Yes, exactly. Then how? Why they think they can use the right side, Gaussian blur G3 instead of the left one? Why do you think they can be replaced with the Gaussian blurring instead of small size of image? Why do you think so? Yes, I think someone's answer is somewhat, making sense. Find feature points and compare them. Okay. So even though, the left one, small picture, even though, and the right one, G3, right G3, left and right, even though they have physically different size, the right one is much bigger. Okay. But in terms of the detail, in other words, in terms of the information they include. So in G3 on the left side, it's very small image. So we cannot see the face clearly. Okay? In case of G3 on the right side, even though the size is much bigger, but the details are not visible. So if we enlarge the G3 on the left one, it may have very similar picture like the right one. Okay, so in that sense, we can say they have similar amount of information about the face. Okay, so that's why they are replacing the pyramid small size with Gaussian blurring. Does that make sense? Because it's faster and it is much easier for calculation. Is it clear? Okay, so finally, from the first, original image, Gaussian blurring, 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 blurring. So we can make this kind of scale space of multiple images. Okay, so that is very important background. On top of that, now we are going to study about the detailed processes of shift calculation. Okay, so these are kind of important steps of this algorithm. So this shift algorithm is actually not a kind of such a simple algorithm such as H or Harris. It's a little bit more complicated algorithm. Okay, and it is actually definitely much slower than H or Harris. Okay, so to calculate the shift features, we have to follow these 4 steps. First of all, as we have discussed already, we construct the scale space of the given image for one image, and then we try to detect extrema points in the scale space images. So, this is very new concept, right? So we'll discuss about this concept later. Okay. Anyways, so based on this extrema, so here the extrema means kind of selecting important, points, extrema points. That is the concept of extrema. Okay. So once we have selected some feature points, then we can localize the key points. So they are called as key points. So it is kind of key point localization, or in other words, key point detection. So here, key point means kind of special points, not just points. Okay, there are too many points. So we just want to select special points. That is key point. So here, key point is kind of very important keyword in this paper. Okay, so these 2 steps, first 2 steps actually about key points. Okay, once the key points are detected in this way, so we'll see the detail later. Okay, in this way, then the next step is about descriptor. So then, for every key point, that is pointed detection, right? Detected points, every key point. How can we calculate the descriptor? So I believe now you understand what is the meaning of descriptor, right? So we have to calculate the descriptor, the feature vector actually. So to do that, we are calculating orientation of every key point. So we'll see later how to calculate the orientation. That is very reasonable way. And then based on the orientation, so we are calculating key point descriptor. So it is about feature vector of every key point. So this orientation assignment is actually related to rotation invariance. Okay, we'll see the details later as well. Okay, so in this way, first 2 steps are about key point detection. Okay, and the other 2 steps are about descriptor. Okay, this approach using scale space extrema is guaranteeing kind of repeatable point feature detector. Okay, and this descriptor part is trying to provide reliable and distinctive descriptor per every key point. So this is actually the whole process for shift feature calculation. And we will study the detailed process one by one from today. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So to calculate, the feature of every, image. Okay, image, every scale, every, image detail. Okay. So what we are doing is the basic feature we are using here is actually Laplacian edge detection, basically. Not exactly the same, but basically. So have you heard about Laplacian edge detection? This concept, Laplacian? Oh, not yet? Okay. Actually, this method, okay, is coming from, edge detection. So it is kind of a little bit higher level of edge detection. Then you may know the concept of Laplacian of Gaussian. Have you heard about Laplacian of Gaussian before? Okay, so why do we use Gaussian for Laplacian then? Why is not just Laplacian? It is Laplacian of Gaussian. Anybody knows the reason why it is saying Gaussian? Why are we talking about Gaussian? Anybody knows the reason? No? Oh, we can get the angle of the edge. Using Gaussian, you mean? By the way, normally, Gaussian is not related to angle calculation. Gaussian is that far. Okay? Okay, so when we say Laplacian of Gaussian, instead of just Gaussian, okay? Gaussian is kind of, second derivative edge detection. So it is second derivative edge detection. Sobel is kind of first derivative edge detection. Okay. Then the problem of Laplacian itself, using just the second derivative edge detection, is it is too much vulnerable and sensitive to noise. Okay, when there is some noise in the image, then it can cause very false, edge values, very sensitive to noise. So we are using Gaussian filtering. So we apply Gaussian filtering to the image. It means its purpose is to remove the noises in the image, and then we apply Laplacian. So that is called as Laplacian of Gaussian. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so that is so famous, Laplacian of Gaussian. So this formula, the first formula, okay, looks a little bit complicated, but this formula is representing the Laplacian of Gaussian. Okay. By the way, there is another approach. It is called DOG, dog, okay, not their dog, DOG. It is formulated like this. So the meaning of DOG is difference of Gaussian. Difference of Gaussian. So anybody heard about DOG before? Okay. So DOG is another kind of processing to process the image. Okay. So it is also using Gaussian. So actually the concept is much easier. So it means, you know, two different Gaussian image, Gaussian blurred image. For example, let me show you previous images. Okay. So in this example, for example, G1 and G2. Oh, okay. So let's use the different one. G2 and G3. So G2 is Gaussian blurred image. Okay. G3 is another Gaussian image, but their blurredness, how much blur, is different between G2 and G3. Okay, G2 is less blurry and G3 is more blurry relatively. Okay, and then we generate this kind of two different level of blur image, and then subtract these two images. That is the basic concept of difference of Gaussian. So this formula, again, back to page 11. The second formula, G, X, Y, K, sigma. Here the K sigma is representing the sigma value of the Gaussian. So you may be familiar to Gaussian function, right? So this is actually Gaussian function is coming from, you know, statistics. So it is very popular and famous such function, right? Okay. So what is the role of sigma parameter in Gaussian function? When we have sigma, big sigma, then what happens with the Gaussian graph? Yeah, much blurry, right? So if we apply that kind of big sigma Gaussian function to image, the image is getting more blurred. Okay? Okay. So in this way, sigma part, the third parameter in the Gaussian function here, is determining the blurredness. So if we look at this DOG formula carefully, then the first one is G, X, Y, K, sigma. The second one is G, X, Y, just sigma. So K sigma, here, K is supposed to be bigger than 1. So K sigma means the sigma value is getting larger. Okay? So more blurry. So between the more blurry and less blurry of sigma, the second term, we can just subtract. That is, okay? So visually we can say, like, you know, the difference between, you know, G3, G2, and G3. Okay, that is the basic concept of DOG, difference of Gaussian. By the way, so Laplacian of Gaussian and difference of Gaussian, actually the method we are calculating, you know, this formula is different actually. So DOG is using subtraction, but LOG is using, you know, addition, right? So the difference. By the way, on the right side, you can see blue and green graph. So here the blue graph is representing the Laplacian function. Okay, so if we represent this, Gaussian and Laplacian, then we can draw this kind of graph. By the way, the red one is representing DOG. They are not the same, okay, but they look very similar. They have some difference, but they look very similar each other. Okay, so finally, the final conclusion is, so because of this kind of similarity between Laplacian of Gaussian and difference of Gaussian, DOG, so instead of Laplacian, they are using DOG in this paper, because Laplacian of Gaussian is actually taking more time, more effort. Okay, so DOG is much simpler. If you look at this formula, DOG formula looks much, easier and simpler, right? So in this way, so we are using DOG instead of LOG. Then the effects based on the blue and red graph, we will see what they are doing. Maybe when you apply, these two different concepts, right? The result may be almost the same. Okay, so that is the concept of DOG and the main reason why they are using DOG instead of LOG. So basically, the base feature, fundamental feature they're using is actually H, second derivative H features, H feature value, mainly based on LOG, Laplacian of Gaussian. But practically, when they are implementing the algorithm, they use difference of Gaussian function instead of Laplacian of Gaussian. Okay. Okay, we'll discuss the details one by one. Okay. So this is Gaussian function, and this is one very simple example of Gaussian filter to make the image blurry. Okay, this is just one example. It can be different. And to make the blurry image using the Gaussian filter, we are using convolution operation. Right? Are you all familiar to convolution? Okay, so let me skip it. Good. It's straightforward, right? So Gaussian of images, simply making it blurry. So to make it more blurry, we can use bigger sigma. Bigger and bigger, then the image is getting more blurry and blurry. Okay, so this page is explaining the Laplacian of Gaussian. Okay, so basically LOG is second derivative of derivative filtering of Gaussian. Okay, so this first part is the basic original formula. Okay, it means we apply Gaussian function to image F. Here F is representing the image. The G is representing Gaussian function. Okay, and then we do second derivative. Here this triangular shape is representing second derivative. By the way, this second derivative and the Gaussian convolution are kind of commutative. So instead of applying Gaussian to image first, we just apply second derivative to Gaussian function itself, and then apply this result for filter as a convolution of image F. And this part, second derivative of Gaussian function is called as Laplacian of Gaussian. then this is kind of, simply saying, we apply second derivative operation into Gaussian mask. Okay? Yes. So, then what happens finally? Okay? So this one, this mask, 5 by 5 mask is one, just example of the ROG, Laplacian of Gaussian. Okay? So if you apply the second derivative onto Gaussian function, then you can get this kind of values, just roughly, briefly. Okay. Then into the original image, we apply LOG. Then we can see this kind of LOG image. It is emphasizing just the edge points. And then from this LOG image, we can extract edge points. So this is very traditional way of using Laplacian of Gaussian for edge detection. So in this paper, the main purpose of this LOG is not to extract edge points. Instead of edge points, using this LOG image, okay, we want to calculate some invariant features. Okay, we will see later the details how we can do that. Okay, so this slide is explaining about first derivative edge features. I think you may understand this concept. So, like the famous Sobel or Prewitt or Roberts, this kind of edge filters, edge detection algorithms, very simple ones. What they are doing is actually basically looking at the difference of regions. Or the left side and right side are very different. So you can try to make them similar each other. Okay, so that is first derivative. We call this as first derivative, just calculating the difference. Okay, by the way, okay, so this is by the way, the second derivative means we are calculating the difference twice, not just one time. So this graph is showing the example of first derivative of second derivative. So let's look at the top graphs. So we have this red graph first, the red graph. It is actually simulating the change of brightness. So it is starting from low brightness and it is getting higher. If we mathematically calculate the first derivative of this graph, the red one, then it is becoming this green graph. This the first derivative. So these peak parts can be selected as edge points in the real image. By the way, if we apply derivative for the green graph again, then we can get this blue graph. Okay, so this is the second derivative. So in this case, in case of this kind of second derivative Laplacian, especially Laplacian edge detection, so from this blue graph, how can you select the edge points? Instead of the big value, like first derivative, in the second derivative Laplacian, the H point is actually in the middle, in this middle position. So it is actually, we call this especially as zero crossing point. So zero crossing, remember? Zero crossing point. We just try to select zero crossing point as H features. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the concept, basic concept of ROG. Okay, so in this paper, anyways, finally, they're using basically LOG features. And on top, by the way, LOG is the kind of fundamental feature value. And on top of that, we try to select some more distinctive features. Okay, this is the main goal of this paper. Okay, so I think that's kind of for today. And next class we'll continue this algorithm. Okay, and yeah, it is next week, right? Okay, so it is very beginning of this algorithm SIFT. Again, SIFT is kind of very popular and outstanding invariant feature algorithm. Very early, almost the first, invariant feature, scale invariant, feature algorithm. So we are now studying deeply, in depth about this algorithm. Okay, so I want to recommend you to read the paper. I suggest it. Okay, so it should be very helpful for you to understand this algorithm. But it's not an assignment. Okay. Okay, so that's all for today, and let's continue our next class again. And any final question for today? Anything? Everything okay? Good. Okay, thank you very much, and have a nice weekend, and see you next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.